Today I'll be reviewing the Canon EOS RP. Let's get started. Hey everyone, my name is Adam Berardi. I'm a cinematographer and a documentary filmmaker, and today I'm reviewing the Canon EOS RP. Now I recently went to my local Best Buy and I picked up this camera because I needed a run-and-gun camera that could shoot 4K video images and was just easy to use. I love Canon products, I love their color science, and I knew that anything I got from Canon would be a good choice. So first off, I have to tell you, I took this out of the box and it feels amazing. The grip is wonderful on this. It has a nice matte finish, and it came with a kit lens. The kit lens in the entire camera cost only $1,200, which is amazing for a full frame camera, which this is. It's got nice metal dials on the top and on the sides here, and it has a lot of extras, including an LCD screen that's fully articulating and is also a touchscreen, so you can access the menu from the touchscreen rather than go to the menu button. On the side here, it comes with a headphone jack, a microphone jack, HDMI, and a USB-C. However, I have to tell you that if you plug any of those things in, you can no longer use the articulation function on your LCD screen on the back. It just won't work, it gets in the way. So that's kind of a drawback, but not really, considering that you have all these things on the side as well that you can use, that some cameras in this price range don't have. It only has one SD card slot. Wah, wah, wah. I know, I would have liked it to have two. Sometimes I'm doing run and gun. I don't want to have to take the time to open up the battery compartment and take out the SD card and put a new one in. I want to be able to just continuously shoot, like if you're at a wedding or an event or something like that. So that might be a drawback to some people. So I took this camera out to my local park to shoot some test video last night and today. I wanted to kind of show you guys some of the things that I noticed with this camera and give you a better feel of the image quality. One thing that I noticed immediately is that when you're shooting in 4K, there is a severe crop. So for some people, that's a deal breaker. For me, I'll just move a little bit further back or put a wider lens on to get that 4K at this price point with a full frame camera. I think it's okay. But for some people, they don't like that, and I totally get that. Maybe this camera's not for you. In 1080, there is no crop, so that's a plus. So if you're shooting in 1080, then you're not gonna have to worry about that. Another thing is that when you're shooting in 4K, you can only shoot at 24 frames a second. I'm sorry, that's the only frame rate it has for this. It's not too much of a drawback for me because everything I shoot is in 24 frames a second. I don't really do a lot of slow-mo shots, and if I want to, you can go and drop down to the 1080 and it has 60 frames all the way down to 24 frames a second. So you can kind of choose what you'd like from your 1080 if you're using 1080. Another thing that I noticed is the moire. The moire on this, when you're shooting in 4K, is pretty severe. For those of you who don't know what that is, kind of picture someone wearing a pinstripe shirt, a very tight pinstripe pattern shirt. And when you notice those patterns kind of moving back and forth, like the camera is having a problem with it, that's the moire. And so that is an issue in 4K, but it's almost non-existent in 1080 as well. So again, if you're shooting in 1080, no problems. Shooting in 4K, a little bit of a problem. I did go ahead and plug some of the footage that I saw that into Adobe Premiere Pro, and I used the anti-aliasing function in there, and it fixed most of it. It looked pretty good. So I would say there is some ability to fix that, but if you're going to be using 4K, make sure people aren't wearing prints like those stripes, and try to avoid those kind of patterns if you're filming those. Also, altogether, the rolling shutter is atrocious in 4K. If you're just doing a very slow whip pan, one way or the other, you're going to get a massive jello look to your footage, and that is a drawback. If you're using 4K, it looks like you're going to have to just go ahead and stick it on a tripod and do a steady shot. And again, in 1080, it's not noticeable barely at all. So that's another plus. So this camera also has dual pixel autofocus. So if you're vlogging and you're using 1080, again, it's going to track you perfectly. You're never going to have a problem. You're always going to stay in focus. It is wonderful at doing that one thing perfectly. However, if you're using 4K, guess what? No autofocus. It does have an autofocus ability, but it's only for contrast. I don't know why that is, and it's a really poor option. So for me, if I'm going to shoot in 4K, I'm going to have to go ahead and set this to manual, set the focus peaking in the menu, and then just manually focus on my subject, which isn't a problem for most people. It's not a problem for me. But if you're vlogging and you want to do 4K, or if you're doing YouTube videos and you're recording yourself, you're not going to be doing it in 4K with autofocus on. I guarantee it's just not going to work very well for you. Now again, without further ado, I have some test video to show you guys. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you right now so you can see it for yourself, see if this is the right camera for you, and enjoy. Alright guys, that's my review on the Canon EOS RP. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, go ahead and subscribe if you can. Maybe like, send me a note below. I'd really appreciate it. And until next time, bye.